One. We in here. All right.
When,
So tell me about tell me the difference between forex trading and the different sites that I hear. Is there any different, or does all those kind of they kind of do the same thing? Because I guess when I look into stocks, there are so many different I guess what you call brokering companies like Charles Schwab's, E-Trade, and so on and so forth. So kind of explain to me the differences, or is there any difference?
there are differences when it comes to trading. I can say that.
Okay.
I can say that. So that's the thing. Um, you can define trading in so many ways. It's pretty much, or it's a push or pull, tit for tat. You have forex trading. With forex trading, it's more so on the currency trading. You have a guy, let's say he's in Japan, or it may not even be a guy in Japan. It's a broker company that deals with currency all over the world.
Okay.
You got Japan, you got Great Britain, you got Canadian money, and you have your American dollar. So what you do is you go to the brokers, their platform. My platform of choice is MetaTrader 4.
What
you
is
go
it?
to your platform.
MetaTrader 4. Okay.
MT4.
MT4.
That's
Okay.
the platform I like to use. It's where you look at the charts and you get to see the currency pairs and how much they cost at the moment.
Okay.
And let me break it down in layman's terms.
Well, kind of go from the top. So tell us this: what is trading? What's the definition of trading? What is actually happening when trading actually happens? Start from there.
What is actually happening? Okay, we're trading.
Because I don't think people know. I don't think people really understand what's happening when someone says trading. I don't really think people really understand what people are saying when they say stocks either. But, right now we're not covering that. But I just think this is I'm not going to use the word taboo. I just think a lot of us are just oblivious to what's happening in this industry, in this field. What are our opportunities? What we can do with it? I just don't think that we understand what's happening, period. Over time, I have went to learn, but in your own definition, I want you to tell me what is trading. What is happening when we quote unquote trade?
When we quote unquote trade? Tit for tat. I mean, and it's like, that's not a definition. It really is if you just look at it. Tit for tat is like, you give something, get something. A pendulum. You know how it goes back and forth?
Okay.
That's pretty much, it's like if you've seen a pendulum clock or a grandfather clock and it's moved backwards and forwards, that's pretty much what trading is. It's just different. It's like one person standing on this side and wants to trade you. I have corn, okay? Your community is in dire need of corn, or corn has a greater value. But I have the corn, and you have the money. What do? You just come to me and buy the corn.
Okay.
Whatever you do with the corn, that's on you once you buy it. It's really that simple. It's supply and demand. So no matter what you're trading.
So let me make sure I get a clear understanding of what was just said.
Okay.
So as I'm trading, I could trade a number of different things. Yes. It could be corn. It could be it could be coffee. It could actually be currency as well, right? Is that right? Is that because when I got explained to it, someone was telling me like you're trading the U.S. dollar for something else, and at certain times it's worth more. So this is how people skim off their profit.
Sure.
Okay. So this could happen in anything. Why would a trade market like this exist? Is it just because supply and demand? Like, okay, I'm over here in this particular country, but that country over there has corn. And right now, it isn't corn season over here, so I'm going to get it from them.
You can buy it from them and stock up on it and have it and just distribute it in your country. Okay, let's say this too as well. Let me just use a different example.
Okay.
Of trading. Let's be selfish with it.
Okay.
I see it's cheaper to buy this over there. I want to buy as much as as possible and put it in the storage room. Just keep stocking up. Because there's demand for it. I see the avenue, but I want it all, and I'll just give it to the people piece by piece. It's more so on wholesaling. Trading is just like wholesale.
Because I have a stronghold on that's in demand right now that makes I can raise the price on it because I can do whatever I want to do with it. Okay.
You can cap, as they say. You can cap off of it. You can trade things all the way down to livestock. My next adventure, I know, and I just had this conversation with my granddad yesterday. We're going to trade cattle. My life, I grew up, and I'm not going to say on a farm, but we had pastures like galore. Like we go to this pasture, that pasture, and it was plenty of cows. My granddad owned cows. And I never understood how the money works with them. Okay. I just knew on the weekends I would get up, we would go to my granddad's house, we hop in the trucks, and I'm looking at cows all day. You know, I'm like, well, how am I looking at this all day? Why am I smelling this all day? He would always tell me, it smells like money to me. I'm like, granddad, this smells bad. It smells like money to me. Never understood it. I just know my granddad had some money and he had cows. The older I get, the more I see. That's a great investment. Livestock, that's a great investment. And it's easy to trade those things off with little maintenance. You know, it's easy to own cattle for little maintenance. You can trade those guys to.
So what is it that you're into trading right now the most? What are you into trading the most? What do you have your foot into right now? I heard you say corn, but what else?
Right now, my number one trading source, again, I'm with the Department of Agriculture now via my granddad, so livestock and Forex. Forex is going to be my forever favorite. That's what my hands are on right now because the money moves faster. Like you get to see your return a lot faster. Where I would have to go and like load my cattle up on the truck, take them to this place, they weigh it, then they cut the check. With Forex, I sit in the comfort of my car, the shower, anywhere, and just trade. And I see my currency right then and there. I see my check right then and there.
So when
but also a great game.
How come is that greater risk? Explain the risk into it for me.
Okay, when you want to compare it to like livestock.
Okay. So let me get this right. So what you're saying is trading Forex, which is more like currency, is more of a greater risk than trading something like livestock or produce.
Yes, or even stocks. Like stocks is not as risky as Forex.
Okay. I didn't know that. That's interesting. That's something to know.
Definitely. Okay. With Forex, you have with stocks, certain stocks you have margin trade. Now, don't get me wrong. Some people trade stocks daily, but for the most part, we buy stocks for the long haul. You know, to let our kids and kids eat off of.
So that's more of a long-term game. Is really what that is.
That's exactly, there you go. It's growth.
Gotcha.
Stocks.
Say less.
Forex is more income based. Like we get that right in and there. If you have $100 to trade, you can make $1,000 right then and there. You can make $3,000 right now, or you could lose your $100 right then and there. You know, so it's more risky than saying I bought a stock in Apple right now for $160. Next month they're at $102. You didn't lose as much. You still have some kind of leverage. You still have equity versus losing your whole $100. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's pretty dope.
That's why I say it's more risky.
Understandable. And I also heard this guy say too, when he's trading currency, he kind of looks at the state of the country. You know,
that is also true.
It sways by what's happening. You know, like the other night when we had the State of the Union address. Whenever there's something that's very, very unpopular that happens, or just a big event, period, in a particular country. It sparks trading to a big degree. And I was totally oblivious to that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know that events that happens within our country greatly affect the way people view our dollar at that particular time. And it's not just us. This actually applies to other countries as well. So there's literally people who literally stay on top of international news just to make sure that their trading and their stock and their investing goes the way that they want it to. So you're definitely teaching me something today. That's dope.
Yeah, that's very true.
That's dope.
And I'm glad you said the State of the Union address.
Okay, tell me.
If the currency USD to JPY, self-explanatory, United States dollar to Japan yen.
Okay.
If for some odd reason 45 bashes Japan. If you're trading that currency at the moment and he's bashing Japan and we're going back and forth with Japan, it's not me personally going back and forth with Japan.
It's just the country as a whole. As a whole.
Right. Going against them. So therefore you already know they're not ones to rock with us. So if you have a lot of American dollars, you sell. You want to sell. Hey Japan, I want to sell out. I know we're beefing right now, I want to sell out. I want to sell.
Okay. Come back for me. Okay, I think I kind of lost a little bit right there. Okay, so you're telling me you have U.S. dollars, right? Or what do you mean when you say USDY? So is that something that you buy into and is connected together? Or am I just holding my American dollars and I take these American dollars and trade them for their yen? How does that work? Explain that to me again. Run me back through that.
Okay. USDJPY. United States dollars to Japanese yen.
So what does that mean right there? So if I see USDY together, what is it saying? If you buy X amount of this, you're buying a trade between the I guess I don't understand. I'm kind of
United States dollar and the Japanese dollar. Yes. I mean
okay. Gotcha.
And now I can also say this. You can also put your American dollar in to just trade currency in other places. Like you can take a JPY, which is Japanese yen, to a GBP, which is Great British Pound. You're just taking your dollar, investing in their money to see which one of their, which one of their currency is stronger. So now your USD, you're not even trading your USD. You're just investing your money to say, hey, I want to trade the currency pair of France and Great Britain. I think Great Britain is on the rise right now. I think everything about them is moving up. So I'm going to say I'm going to buy into Great Britain and watch them grow.
Gotcha.
Granted, all you did was just invested your USD dollar. You're not trading your USD dollar. You just invested your dollar to watch who you believe is going to grow or who's going to fail.
That's right. Okay. And I actually, I was learning from a different angle of stock, and that's the same mantra that they use in the stock. Just remember, I don't think we really realize how powerful our dollar is. When you take this dollar and you give it to a company, whether you're coming in from an angle as a consumer, or if you're coming in from an angle of an investor, whether it be trading stocks, pieces of the company, whatever it is, you're pretty much giving that company a vote. You're pretty much saying, I support you, in every endeavor that you carry on from here on out. That's why it's so important that we take our dollar and stop giving it to industries and companies and institutions that clearly does not have the Black progression in mind. With that thought process and with that mindset that you're actually putting it into the company, you're giving them a vote, you're allowing them to carry out their endeavors. So it's almost like you're supporting their idea. And if I can take this moment to promote anything, I advise everybody to kind of dig into that Killer Mike trigger warning.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Have you been tuned into that?
My mom put me onto it. Like, she watched it. Like, she gave it a standing ovation. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yes, sir.
She sent it to me, and I watched it, and I was like, okay. I watched part of it.
Me too. I'm into it. I haven't finished it yet, but from the first one, I've seen enough. I'm with the campaign. I'm definitely with the campaign. I'm with the mindset. I love that he's being raw and unapologetic about, no, we need our dollar here. Don't care who feels offended, and I love that. And I feel like and I understand why we operated from this particular point, or I don't know what to say, side of the table or whatever. I get it because of just our history. Things didn't quite work in our favor. I get it. But we almost operate as like subhuman. It's almost like we have to ask for permission to be humans.
Right. Right. To be us.
To be us. That's crazy. And I'm sick of it. I'm over it. So I don't want you to be so radical where violence and aggression comes in, but I want you to be so radical where you take your mind and use it as a weapon and we're able to progress. So I'm with his movement. Buy Black, keep the dollar in the black. And also I'm so with how hard it was for him to actually live his day-to-day life without being able to shop white. It was so cool to see that. It was so good that he linked up with the guy with the Buy Black facility. If he didn't, I don't think he would have made it so far.
Mm-hmm.
And also,
I saw when he went to the lady's house and eat.
Yes,
that was
the farmer.
Heartwarming, I won't lie.
That was heartwarming. And he started busting out the fingers and eating the cornbread and the collard greens with the finger. I said, oh yeah, we in here now.
Right.
We in here now.
I felt that one.
We here. No, I ain't got all the way into it, but like you said, the first few episodes I kind of fell asleep. I kind of started it early, but it's worth the watch. It's definitely worth the watch. And with it, and this is the whole point of this show. I want to be able to talk about business, talk about money. Where is money going? How can we actively get involved? Can we get involved as a team and track our progression, actually earn and keep this thing flowing? That's really the whole point of this show. So I'm so glad that we got to a point to, craft this stuff together. But let's kind of keep it rolling. Let's kind of jump back to the marketing and branding, since we've talked about trading for a little minute. When we talked about the difference between the brand and the market, the brand and marketing the brand, do you quite grasp the concept of the difference?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I fully grasp the fact that Nike is the brand. Marketing is when I see these guys. No, I'm going to take it back.
That's right.
I know that Comcast is the brand, but when I'm walking down the aisle in the electronics and the Comcast guy say, hey, come here, what you got? Who are you with?
That's right.
I understand.
That's the promotion. That's the marketing. That's letting you know what I have. And that can happen in branding can happen with a brand. You can brand a brand, which is crazy. For example, you're the master chef. That is your brand. And you can go...
brand within a brand.
That's right. So your branding could happen. You could offer a service that you brand. You could offer a product that you brand. And also when you make that product or you make that service, once you get a brand around it, now we go and market it and promote it to people so they can take advantage of it. Make sense? So if you were actually a master chef and you're cooking, that's your product, and that product has a brand around it. So let's say you're cooking soul food. Because it's soul food, you're going to give it some type of southern home feeling type of brand. So when people eat this food, this is the mindset that they're put into. Same thing like if I buy an Apple phone, I'm getting the persona that I have this particular lifestyle. It's a lifestyle brand. You run with it. You know what I'm saying? And a note, anything that has lifestyle added onto it, it's probably jacked up in price hella bit. I don't know how to put that in proper terms, but the margins between what they're actually taking to purchase the product versus what they're selling it for, anything that has a lifestyle attached to it, they're putting emphasis on, we know that this is not valued this way. It's not the value of it that we're trying to say is worth this amount of money. It's just, this is the lifestyle that we're putting around it and you're buying into it. So much when you're buying luxury brands, that pocketbook is still getting made for $5. It's just the fact that they have branded themselves in such a way that they make it look like you're of a different status. Like, let's say surfboards and stuff like that. That's a lifestyle, even though it's not a luxury lifestyle. But the way they promote it to you, they promoted that if you buy this board, you're going to live the beach life. You're going to live the kickback cowabunga life. So that's the branding behind it. And then once they're done with coming up with the idea of the brand, okay, we got a board. We want people to accustom to beach life, California living, even if they're on the East Coast and they're in the coast of Georgia. But if we brand these boards and make them feel like this is the California way, then boom, they're buying into that lifestyle. So I just wanted to make sure we had a clear understanding of that. What was another one of our questions that we had on the marketing tip? You want to go my question or your question? Do you have any questions or concerns? Do you have any response to that? Do you have any comments on marketing or anything like that in that regard?
You gave me who was the difference between the branding. Now, if we can go with, let's say, do you have questions? You remember the question?
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm pulling them up right now, but go ahead. Ask what you're about to ask. Finish your sentence.
It was for, I was asking, for an individual who just graduated from high school.
Okay.
And had no plans of going to college.
Okay.
Would you recommend he or she learn the arts of trading to pursue a career? I mean, marketing, I'm sorry. To pursue
That's what I was about to say. You got me. You had me stuck for a second. Okay. Yes, I do. Because this is an industry that you can get involved into with absolutely no money. So yes, I do think that if you have no projection, or even if you do have a projection, because no matter what you end up doing at the end of the day, you need to understand how to market, promote it, and actually turn profit from it. And marketing will teach you that. So yes, I do. For an example, give me a passion. Random passion, doesn't matter what it is, and I'm going to give you an example of how marketing can help that particular person. Let's say we do have an 18-year-old. They're about to graduate from high school, not really sure what the projection of college is just yet, but they have a hobby and they have a passion, and I'll tell you how we can take marketing and advance that. So give me an example.
Random passion.
Random passion.
Okay. My passion. I like coaching. I like coaching. I like mentoring.
Okay, so you like coaching, you like mentoring. Okay. There are a few different aspects to me of marketing. One is the awareness, or what will sometimes be called the traffic. Also, profit matters to me when it comes to marketing, and also the exposure. So traffic, profit, exposure. Well, let me take that back, because traffic and exposure kind of goes hands in hand. So let me say this, for example, your audience instead of traffic. Let me say audience, profit, exposure. So realizing who you're speaking to, you want to coach. One, you're going to have to figure out what type of coaching you're going to do. Whether it's one type of coaching, whether it's a number of type of coaching, you have to be set on what it is. After you're set on what it is, with the grace of the internet at this particular time, you're more than able to take free avenues and start to coach. Me, I would suggest that you start to do it by free. The philosophy of free is very, very powerful. Actually, there's a book by a gentleman called Chris Anderson. I hope people listening to this actually digest this, and you probably can find the PDF online. The name of the book is actually Free, and it goes through several different scenarios of how you can actually profit from offering something for free. And I won't get into all those avenues, but I just want to put emphasis on how powerful free is. What I would do, I would go in, make an example of just coaching someone through something. Or I'm going to put you also get onto the internet, keep your social media profile geared towards that. If you do that, if you create content, produce it, and actually actively getting involved or coaching someone for free in the beginning, you could take who you are and make profit from it from several different angles. Again, audience, profit, exposure. And it really probably should be audience, exposure, profit, because that's probably the order that it goes into. So you start a platform, you start to produce the content, whether that be videos, whether that just be you recording yourself over audio, however you're going to allow people to see you do this coaching. Because we're a see, touch, and feel generation. We actually want our senses heightened. So you're definitely going to have to document you doing this in order for it to kind of be in a marketing sense. So you do that. You get it in some type of documented form. Once it's in this documented form, now you're ready to promote. And this is where marketing comes in at. Even though you have done this service for free, there's literally things out there what you call affiliate marketing. Let's step into that angle. You can literally go out to affiliate companies and you can find products and services that are similar to what you're talking about. So for example, name me a good coach that you pay attention to that even sparked your interest into coaching. If you know one. If you don't, I will use my own.
Okay, well, honestly, I'll let you use your own. Only because, I couldn't even go for, NFL coaches because I don't know their coaching techniques without the money issue. You know what I'm saying? They're getting paid to do this.
Okay. So you know what? I didn't really know what type of coaching you were talking about. I didn't know if it was business or sports, but are you meaning like sports?
It's pretty much all, well, I'm going to say overall because, don't get me wrong, I have a gang of, 8-year-olds under me because I teach Little League. I coach Little League.
I didn't know that. That's dope. That's dope.
That's Shout a passion of mine. So I'll say sports, but I also take these guys, I'm going to take, I sent one of my guys last night the website to this company that makes shoes.
Yeah.
12 years old. So I sit into him and say, go ahead and I want you to create this up. I'll do the back end. I'll make the purchase. So he's excited to get out of school today to go create a shoe. So I'll do life coaching as well, but we'll do sports. We'll just take it sports.
Okay. So if you wanted to do that, okay, and you're now taking some, let's say Little League fellows, and you're out and you're doing some skill training with them, you're documenting that because again, we got to document this to be able to put any type of marketing to it. Once we have that documentation, we use our free social media channels to put that up. There's literally free sites out here that you can go tap into because you have not created your own product just yet in this coaching area, in this coaching field. We're getting into the profit area. We're getting into the exposure, and the audience comes from our documentation of the product. And then our profit comes from how can we take what we've creatively done and actually make some money from this? And you can go out to different sites. For example, you got your ClickBank, you got Commission Junction, you got Vigilink, you got ShareSale. I could go on for days. And this is how readily accessible this is. You can even go into companies like Amazon. You can go to Walmart. When I got on the cusp of realizing that I could partner with any,
it's pretty much what you're saying. No, go ahead, continue to say.
So like if I had $100 in my pocket, or let's say how much ever I need to invest into this, I buy so much amount of this trade of US to yen, or what does that mean? I guess I don't.
You buy so many lot sizes, and it's honestly, I think this is a conversation that we'll have.
Okay.
Elsewhere, but it's a lot into it, and I'll just try to sum it up for you.
Just sum it up for me. Just kind of give me.
Let's see. USD to JPY.
Okay.
It'll say my United States dollar at the moment on your platform is worth X amount of dollars. Who in Japan wants one of my United States dollars?
Okay.
The market moves so much.
It's almost like, okay. So it's almost like a line. So whenever you're in this particular line, USD to the JPY, that right there, it also could be another lane from US dollar to another type of currency as well.
Correct.
So there's another title and another lane, but basically you're investing in those particular. You're trying to invest to changing your dollar to the Japanese dollar, or you're taking your dollar to trade to the franc, or taking your dollar and trading to the peso, or whatever, right?
Or to CHF, which is France. USD CHF, United States dollars, CHF.
To the franc, or whatever they use as their currency. Okay. So basically those acronyms and those abbreviations is basically you're taking your dollar and you're trading it along that line. You're trading it from yen to US or from CH to US. So there's so many different lines that you can actually flip your dollar from and to, right?
That's correct.
When I say any, people are like, really? No, I want to put emphasis on anything. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be coaching to fashion or to fitness. It doesn't matter. You can partner with these brands and they have a plethora of products. There's merchants that's always going to these sites and producing different products on there. And you're able to partner with them, rub shoulders with them, sell their products for a commission. So again, we're producing the content over and over. We are applying something that will turn us profit to that content in hopes that it gets out to the audience. So our exposure, our audience, and our profit. And that's how a person who's coming out of high school, who does not have any money, who does not know where they're going as a career for college, could actually use marketing to turn a profit and actually make money from where they're at.
Got it.
Did I answer that? Did I answer that in a good way?
You actually digest it? You answered it. Honestly, you answered my question when you first started speaking.
Say less. And let me also say this too. So, for example, I'm going to tell you specifically what I would do with someone with coaching. You log onto one of these sites and literally you type in the keyword or the term coaching, and there's going to be X amount of products where a coach has stood in a gym. He's recorded training videos. It could be a number of things. It just depends on what we're getting into. But this is the beauty of what I'm saying we can tap into for absolutely free. There is no charge for you to tap into these systems. It's like a Facebook profile. You make a profile, now you're in. And from there, you have to get the product, and now you market it. And as long as you market it and get someone to take advantage and actually make a sale from this, you get a commission from it. And it can be, I need to jump higher. I need to work on my agility. I need to be able to run faster. I need to be able to move on my pivot a little bit better, or whatever it may be. It could be a combination of training. You'd be surprised, but people are already out there making these products. All you have to do is tap into the platforms, take that product, and find a way to market and promote it. And the way that you market and promote it is to create content around that's relative to what you're trying to sell. So, for example, we got a coaching product. We actually do coaching, and here you are. You go and sell that product. And that's how someone who has no money, no job, no nothing can actually use marketing to profit.
Profit from it.
Yep, and make something happen.
So these are the things let me not speak on every school in the world,
It's
but
okay.
my school, specifically my high school, they didn't teach us things like this, like marketing. They put you in groups like co-op where you get out of school early and go to a job, but they never taught us about marketing. They taught us how to use a computer to get a grade, but they never taught us about marketing or trading. Use this computer to market. Use this computer to brand something. They never taught us that.
That's right. That's right. I never got that either. It took me through. And you know what? Actually, when I start figuring this out, it was like a slap in the face. It was really and truly like a slap in the face, because it's like this. I come from a place where not everybody had it well, I'm going to be honest. Mm-hmm. They didn't. So we took so many different avenues to try to make a dollar, not knowing that this was absolutely free at everyone's fingertips. It was just a knowledge that we didn't have. And you can literally take this and make 10s, 20s, 30s, 40s of dollars and have money in your pocket. You literally might not even need a 9-to-5 job if you could actually get it flowing, in a way that you can actually turn this profit like this. But yes, in that particular form of marketing is called affiliate marketing. Affiliate marketing, or sometimes it's referred to reseller. That'll be a term that's used. Sometimes referral is a term that's used. Associate is a word that's used sometimes. So different platforms call it different things, but it's pretty much capped at affiliate marketing. When it first hit the internet, first hit the wave, it was called affiliate marketing. And I know to somebody who's listening to that, they're going to be like, it's good information to start, but it's also not enough information. But we're going to keep on beating it down. And hopefully as we get people to listen to this, if they have questions, want to know more about a particular subject, that'll give us a guideline on what type of content to create, so we can help people really understand what this is and what they can do with it.
Right, because they would have to ask questions. I mean, you got to ask questions, because we could give you this, but you got to ask questions because you may retain it in your head a little different. And that's true. It ties in. That's true.
All right, so let's kind of look at some more of these questions. I'm actually going to look at some of the questions that I sent to you, and let's go trading a little bit, since we had a little powwow about
marketing and all that good stuff. Affiliates programs and whatnot.
That's right. Is there any other marketing questions or concerns right now that you have, though?
Let's see. Let me get the people something about not marketing. I'm sorry. I keep wanting to say marketing.
It's okay.
Stocks, or not even necessarily stocks. Go back to the word trading. I think the average Joe, first of all, can trade anything.
Really?
A lot of people get scared when you mention trading. I know for a fact. I've had conversations with people, and when I bring up the word trading, it seems like their face is like either, huh? Or they're scared. Or it automatically pushes it off. Like,
now, isn't that kind of crazy? That just shows how financially illiterate most of us are.
then it's true. I mean, it's not doubting us. It's just speaking facts.
It's just speaking facts. And, I think that comes from just the lack of knowledge, which we will sum up to call ignorance. There's nothing wrong with us. We just are completely oblivious to what's happening over here. That's why when we first started talking, I was like, explain to the people what trading is, because I don't think that we're really capping the concepts of what things like, I know the simplest terms, business. A lot of us don't even really understand what that is. Branding, marketing, trading, stocks, finance. When these terms are thrown around, people do get antsy because it's not said enough in their everyday environment. They're like, nah, I'm gonna stay away from that. Now, over the years, I can say in my industry, in the marketing industry, people have gotten more keen to the word marketing to the point where they know they need it, but they still do not understand it. Okay, so that's right. It's such a popular term now that people hear it so much, they start to repeat it and they know they need it and they want to get involved into it. But when I talk to people, they don't truly know what marketing is. I've even had companies to hit me up. I've actually had celebrities that I've done this for, and I'm not going to say names because that doesn't matter to me. The money, that's what matters. But I've actually had celebrities, a actually well-known soul singer, multimillionaire. Me and her is discussing her brand and what to do with the brand. And literally, they're telling me that they need marketing, but they don't even know why they need marketing. What you say? I'm like, oh, so you need me to even educate you. You're not ready for the marketing part. You don't have the brand and the product actually ready to be marketed.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking you're at. You're not even there. You're not even to the point to realize why this applies to you and why you need to apply this to your company. It's amazing. It's quite amazing. But yeah, I just said all that to kind of put emphasis and support what you're saying. We are just what I like to call financial illiterate. I want you guys to go out and check out a guy named Dr. Boyce Watkins. He's one of the biggest financial graduates in the country, actually, being black. He actually has this good campaign out there about how black people should rise up, start more businesses, actually stand up financially. He actually was, yes, Dr. Boyce Watkins. Dr. Boy, you're going to love him. Bald head with glasses.
Yes, sir.
Yes. And while you actually into it, you're going to love this guy too, Dr. Kimbrough. Kimbro. Don't know if you know who he is, but go ahead and dive on into them too. I love it. Everything that they give you is nothing but gold. But I get that term financially illiterate from them, because that's what they say we are. And if you think about it, that's basically what it is. It's like a child that can't read. It's not that they don't have the potential to read one day. They've just never been taught how to read. It's not that we don't have the potential to play the financial game and wealth game.
We just never been taught it.
It's never even been presented to us.
But you know what, though? And this is my personal feeling. A person, let's just say, for instance, an individual that works for Yamaha. Mm-hmm. Yamaha is a Fortune $500 billion company. Okay. They work with this company, and in this company, since it's so large, they get a 401k plan. They get a 401k package. The company invests them into stocks. Granted, some people don't know what the stocks are that they're invested in. They just know that they have the ability to say, I have a retirement package. Because I work for this company, I have a retirement package. And then you take another person that works at Burger King. They don't get a 401k package. They don't offer that to them. So they're just working for minimum wage damn near with no retirement package.
Okay,
so they have nothing to look to.
Okay, wait. Give it to me again. Now, who are we talking about that does not have a 401k package?
A person, let's say, granted, I'm not sure what Burger King offers nowadays, but I don't think they offer.
You're just saying someone who has a low-paying, low-income-based job. Okay. I understand that concept.
Versus someone that may be working in a manufacturing plant
where it automatically comes with a 401k. No, you're right. A lot of food industry, they do not automatically, even with the whole Obama thing, they do not automatically get tapped into group health insurance, nor do they automatically get tapped into, group finance investing like 401k. So no, you're absolutely right. I just didn't catch that. Forgive me.
But it's real simple for them. I mean, now again, let me take that back because I don't want to offend anyone by saying it's real simple. But I'll just say for the average Joe with this low paying job, they too can have the same retirement package, this financial backing with their low paying job.
Okay, explain
And
to me how one, if I am earning the bottom of the bottom, and no shouts to anybody because we all got to start out somewhere. And actually, I started there. My first job was my first 9 to 5 clock in through my social security number was actually Long John Silver. So that's no shout to anybody. But let's say we are talking about our low income earners and we're trying to reach another tax bracket. How could I do investing as that person? Help me out.
Now, for the ones that have never been introduced to it, you would have to. It's hard to say because if you've never been introduced to it, you don't know it's out there.
So you would reach out to somebody like you, the master chef, and get some consultation or some guidance or some mentorship or some type of coaching, so that way you can kind of get the gist of it, basically, right?
There you go, get the gist, and you'll sit next to the same person. Let's take the same two. I have Yamaha and I have Burger King. Okay, for this individual that works at Yamaha with their retirement package, you can continue to work at Burger King and have the same retirement package as the person that works at Yamaha. Sounds crazy, but it can happen.
Okay.
It can really happen.
What are my first steps? Kind of put me to how I would actually go about and do this.
Okay, first steps is to, first of all, understand what you're getting into. Understand what stocks and things of that nature means. Understand which groups you want to be a part of. If you want to invest in the same group that you work for, let's say you work for Burger King and you know Burger King makes money because that's where you work. All you have to do is just invest into that. You look for it. You want a piece of it and you purchase a piece of it. It's really that simple.
Okay, so you're saying you look for what again and purchase a piece of it? Tell it to me again. I'm trying to make sure I wrap my mind around it.
I got you. Okay, listen. I work at Burger King.
Okay, I work at Burger King.
I don't have a retirement package.
Okay.
I want a retirement package. I want to be able to retire out and give my kids something. Whether I have low education or whatever it is, this is what I can do at the time. I can work at Burger King. That's my lifestyle.
Okay.
However, I feel I'm better than that. You know what I'm saying? I just can't get out of Burger King at the moment. But I want these benefits. I want these packages.
Okay.
I want this.
Okay. Now, how can I do this again?
A person would sit down like a person like myself or even yourself. They'll sit down with us and say, hey, matter of fact, we'll offer it to them, huh?
Yeah, so basically you're saying just come up with some type of long-term strategy investing plan to set aside some money.
Exactly. And it's really just, it sums it up. It's like, okay, your check. I can tell a person how to take $165 out of their check just 1 week and invest in something that'll go a long term with their minimum paid job. Like you can get these same benefits. You can actually, if you're cutting out the middleman, if you do it yourself, versus saying Yamaha middleman, you just go Yamaha you, or Burger King middleman you just go Burger King, which pays you, and you just go directly to the source yourself.
That's right.
Even with medical care and all of that, you're just cutting out the middleman. A lot of people aren't aware that we can cut out the middleman. No one taught us to cut out the middleman. It's like we need this person here to get to this.
Again, that goes back to that kind of subparness of kind of not being fully human, not fully being able to stand up by ourselves, which is why we have to break away. Yes, like we need crutches, but that's actually how they wrote us in the Constitution. 1/3 of a man almost made you like you were not fully human.
That's true.
So this is yes. So this is important, and I think again when you go to things like 401k and stuff like that, just because the terms aren't presented to us until we become adults, again, it's not that we can't. We're just oblivious to it, so we don't really kind of it's kind of I can tell you from personal experience, when I first started working my first set of jobs, I did not invest into 401k because I didn't really understand what it was. I thought it was more valuable to hold on to that $150 versus actually putting it into something. Not understanding that no, this can grow, this is untaxed. And then not only can it grow, it grows in a compounded way most of the time. And compound is 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 16, 16 to 32, 32 to 64, that sense. And with that type of compoundedness, you take some money, you sit it back for long term, and the estimate says you invest anywhere from about $150 a month for right at around 10 years. You're looking at anywhere from between about $250,000 and $1 million, just depending on, your strategy, how diversified.
And you can eat off of that as you go. You can eat off that along the way.
Okay, explain that part to me.
Okay, if you invest, let's say you invest some money into a share or a stock or, for a retirement plan. Okay. You put some money back into a stock for a retirement plan.
Okay.
We're going to just say you put $1,000 in. Your investment grows to $2,000. Okay. Over time, with the company doing so well, you get percentages, you get interest, and it increases. Over throughout the years, let's say you see this car and you need $500. You go to your broker. You withdraw $500 from your investment this is your money that you placed in this account to gain interest.
Okay. Am I penalized if I do that?
Now, there are ways. You will be penalized if you don't let them, let's say, take tax withholdings. Let me take it back. Depending on the broker you use as well. Depending on the broker you use, some brokers let you get your money out. They take a percentage of it, and you get no penalties. And then some brokers penalize you. That's on the person themselves. Like, hey, I really need this money. I can put it back. I'm willing to take this penalty of, whatever X amount of dollars I have to pay or whatever the penalties are. With each broker, that's on the person to take. But yeah, sometimes you will be penalized, and then sometimes you won't be penalized. There's ways around it. You have things like hardship loans, where you take the money out, and that's your money. You no longer own anything. That's your money. Then you also have where you get a loan from your money, where you have to pay it back. It's your money, but you're paying yourself back. And I like that part more because it's more discipline. The hardship is you take this money, you're good. So if I take $1,000 out of a $3,000 loan I only have $2,000. I take it out with no responsibility behind it. Now I'm $1,000 out,
But
even though I was able to use it for what I needed it.
But you're still making your pot or the bag a little bit dwindler than it was
there you
before.
Go.
Right.
Than it was before versus a loan where it's disciplined. They say, hey, it's your money, but you have to pay us back, or we'll charge you $500 on top of the $1,000 you took out. Now you owe us $1,500 of your own money. And I like that kind of sort of because, again, it's more discipline. To keep you responsible with not just running over here every time you need some money, take it out. No, that's for rainy days, those are retirement. That's where
that's what I was about to say, because that money is to be set aside when you're old and crippled and you can't move no more.
Right. And then who knows? You may have a baby.
Or college, or a big purchase of a home, or anything.
Granted, though, we still work at Burger King, though. You still have this money sitting here as a big company, and you still work at Burger King.
And what we're only looking to invest about $160 a month at that rate.
Some people could invest lower. Some people could, it all depends on the broker, what they match with you. You have some places that match. If you put 100, they put 100. So it all depends on the consultation you get when you sit with the person and they discuss it. But there are options. There are options out there.
All right. So go ahead and tell the people, if they wanted to contact you for something like that, where could they reach you at?
They can reach me. Instagram, 0PSI. A lot of people are like, well, who is Opsy? That's a 0. It's 0PSI. I could be reached at 678-902-7211. Number again is 678-902-7211.
All right.
But 0PSI on Instagram.
That's what's up.
And my phone rings 24 hours a day. Like, I answer my phone. Some people are like, don't call me at 4 a.m. If it's about business, you can call me at 4 a.m. I know how to go back to sleep.
I like that. Grind time,
Yes, I'm always in grind mode.
Grind time. We're in the trap at all times. Financial kitchen. That's the whole thing. We want to cook up money at all times. Cook up good financial, whether it be the literature behind it, or the actual physical action behind it. Either way, let's just cook up. So I'm with it. So while we're taking a moment to promote, I'm actually going to do the same. Right now, I'm not going to promote my social media pages because I don't know if I'm actually going to change this. This is kind of early in the process, but I am going to go ahead and promote my email address, which I can be reached at marketingthepie@gmail.com. And the pie is P-I, like the symbol, and not an actual pie, but it's a play on the word. So marketingthepie@gmail.com. I can be reached at 404-955-8094. If you have any questions, any concerns about marketing, any consultation needs, any business service needs of marketing and or trading, because I'm sure, by the end of this, we'll come up with some type of package that we can start to give people and offer people with a congruent method versus individually as well. So I just want to put that out, taking money to do that. Let's go ahead and keep chopping down these questions and make sure that we covering the content for today. I actually feel good about this. Okay, so I think we may have already touched on this just because it's a specific question on my list. I'm going to ask it again. And the question is, why should the average person, citizen, or society member, in your opinion, start to trade?
Well, it's financial security. Now, granted, we can't say everything is, secure. Like even the job, a person that has a great job, they could be there 30 years. Take GM for example. And today you go to work, everything is good, and by the end of the day, they tell you, hey, we're going to lay off pretty much all of plant B. It gives you some sort of backing, some sort of trade, something else that you can do to bring in income. You may not know how to paint a house if you get laid off from being a manufacturer that's been putting tires together for 30 years. You may not know how to be a chef. You may not know how to do anything else. Start a lawn company. But if you have a home, or if you just have yourself, within yourself, if you have a trade, if you know how to trade, no matter where you go, no matter where you are, you can trade. You can become a trader. It does take a little finance to get started, but that's the thing. If you plan ahead, let's say you have a job now, just take some money and put to aside for yourself for a rainy day. That's what rainy days really mean. You have to take something you can put for rainy days for yourself. And I think trading is a great ace in the hole, if you will. That's a great backup plan.
How much?
I think with me personally. Go ahead.
How much again? Say that again.
I was saying, with me personally, I think if all else fails, if I knew nothing else, since I've learned how to trade, if I knew nothing else, if I had no other ways of making income, I know for a fact that all I have to do is focus, pay attention to what's going on in the world, and I can trade. That's why I say currency trade. That's my favorite thing at the moment because I know nothing else that will bring a financial bag.
Security.
Bring in the bag like that besides trading. Not true. You have to take some study time and learn it, but that's like with anything else. You don't just hop in the car and drive. You have to be taught how to drive. You don't just hop into things. You have training, and that's what people like myself, you, and it's a billion other people in the world that will train people how to have what you call an umbrella for a rainy day.
That's so true. That's true. That's true. That's very much true. I believe that in anything that you do, even if this particular person does not know exactly that field or of business, you always need you a mentor.
Yes.
And just to kind of put emphasis on what you just said, if you're playing basketball player still needs a coach. LeBron still has to have a coach. Can his coach play as good as him? Maybe not. Maybe not, but he still has a coach for structure. You feel me? And I think that's something also nobody ever told us. Nobody ever told us how important mentors were. And not a lot of people offered to be our mentors either.
Mm-hmm.
So this is an extended, I want to put this out in the podcast. You look for mentorship, coaching, business service, whatever. Make sure you hit us up on our avenues. Again, I'm just going to continue to promote my email and phone number for now. Marketingthepie@gmail.com, 404-955-8094 for me. And your contact information one more time.
My contact information, just a second, my apologies. Contact information would be 678-902-7211. That's on the mobile, or 0PSI on Instagram.
Hey, that's what it is. All right. So while we're still down this trading avenue with trading questions, okay. So how were you introduced to trading?
I was introduced, let's see. When I first discovered Forex trading, it's a guy that I've watched. I think I've seen him first on maybe Facebook or Instagram, one of the two. I think it was Instagram. I seen him. He just always flashing little wads of money, and I thought it was one of those get rich quick schemes, you know, those green dot things.
What was it on? What social media? What is it? It was on Instagram?
Yes, this was Instagram. It was on Instagram. I'm a big Instagram user. I hardly use Facebook. I'm a big Instagram user.
Say no more. Say no more.
And he was flashing, like, not really flashing, but, you know, every now and again he'll take pictures of wads of money. And that was
it was enough to let you know that he was into something.
Right. Okay. It caught my attention. It caught my attention. And it was something different about him versus the guys that say, hey, if you send me $100, I can get you $5,000 back. Send me your bank information. You know, I looked at it as if it was a scam. However, his appearance was different. You know, he would flash the money and say, hey, guys, get at me, you know, and it was different. So one day, I think I was down to my last $60. And I was talking to my mom. I was like, look, I got to make this money flip. I know it can be flipped. I just have to make it flip. And I took a chance. And I was like, okay, I'm going to try this out. Whatever this guy right here is offering, I'm going to try it.
Okay.
And that's when I spent my last $60. And I think that was the best $60 I've ever spent in my life.
Wow.
The class was usually $100+ and he was on sale. It was for $60. That's why I was like, you know what? I got it. It's on sale. I don't know what this is I'm walking into.
So what did you actually purchase? What was it that you spent the $60 on? Explain it to me.
I really spent the $60 on his mentorship. He was hosting a course to show you how to trade Forex. And I spent the $60 pretty much just to be under his tutelage. And the thing about my particular time that I got in, my $60 bought me a lifetime pass to call him whenever I need him to say, hey, what's going on in the market? Or I did this, or what's going on with this and the third.
So or can you give me a little bit of advice about this or whatever?
Right.
That's
so
awesome.
That's what I spent it to. And that's how I was introduced to it. When I first looked at it, I won't lie to you guys. When I first looked at it, I was like, I bit off more than I could chew. I got kind of nervous looking at the charts. I'm like, man, here we go with the stuff they tried to show me in school with graphs. And,
no. I have actually saw the trading charts. Let me tell you. Let me tell you the truth, my man. The jargon.
Yep. The pips.
See what I'm saying? So.
And honestly, to this day, I'm still confused with the pips. I won't even lie. I won't flex. I'm still confused with it.
Yeah, I've heard that too. I've heard people have their own strategies and they don't even pay attention to the charts. So there's definitely so many angles you can go about this. The same thing with marketing too. There's so many different angles. So there's no way in one conversation I'll be able to give it out. And this is why my idea of a podcast, something that can be in a linear form and we can continue to talk about different subjects, different pieces of it, you know, get questions from the people and actually dive in that angle of the content. That's why I thought about this, because you can't have this conversation at one time, but it's such good information that people need to know this. You know, we need to have these type of conversations. So I'm glad that, you know, we're building and we're putting this content together. But I have seen these charts. You're not lying. It looks like David and Goliath, and I'm David, and the chart is Goliath. You feel me? So help me with that. What was your mindset when you were approaching these charts? What ended up happening?
What ended up happening is I thought, like, I'm gonna say, I guess a real trapper at the moment. I was like, look, I just invested this money. Something got to flip.
Okay.
Something's gonna have to go, because he's not gonna just refund it back. Because I say, hey guys, I don't like this anymore. So I had to make something happen, and I followed my instinct. My instinct was, okay, look, I guess that was the turning point for me personally as well. Like, I guess that was my transitional period. Because that's one of the only things I think I stuck with in the last few years that I've learned, and I've said, okay, look, I have to make this happen. I'm going to stick with this because I invested in myself.
Really?
And that's what made me just stick with it.
Really now? Okay, so let me ask you this. How many years have you actually been into this, or how many months? What's the time frame that you actually, from the time that you actually bought this particular training package up until now?
January 2017.
So we're right at a cap of 2 years.
We're right at a cap of 2 years.
Okay.
And I've learned more in the 2 years these last, 3 months, honestly. Like, it takes that long to get comfortable with it and to learn the setup, the lingo. And then you really get into the learning part. So I won't lie and say I'm just a mastermind in it, because the last few months have taught me more so of how to actually keep the income. But I've taken a lot of losses. That comes with the territory of trying and stay consistent with. And now I feel like I can show someone, like, okay, look, I don't know it all, but from what I know, I can keep you a bag coming in, whether it's a big bag or just like $50 a day.
I can
People
advise
wouldn't
you. I
want to
can
pick up.
consult you. I can coach you, mentor you along the way. And
Right.
and never went with business can anybody put any kind of guarantee on anything. So that's the number one disclaimer. No promise for anything, and that's also with me. I'm not claiming to be the rule all end all guru of marketing. All I'm saying is that I've been out here long enough that I know the gist. I understand it. I've turned profit from it, and I can help you along the way in your journey. And I found out such cool stuff that there's no way I can keep my mouth closed about it. It's really
I can't act like I don't do it. I'm sorry.
That's really what I'm at. I'm at like,
You
bro,
know?
I have to tell people. I have to get this
I
to
do.
people. And it wasn't really working for mouth to mouth, like the people who were closest to me. So, I thought that this was a good avenue to actually spread it and get it out a little bit bigger. Because again, people need to know this information, and it'll kind of trigger them later.
Can I say something real quick? Not to cut you off too much, but it's
Go.
When I first discovered this and I brought it up to like my peers, they thought I was crazy. They thought I was crazy because of the amount of money that when you watch the demos and when you watch YouTube videos and people talk about it, all they know is corporate America does this, so they think you have to have millions and billions of dollars to do it. But when I tell them you don't have to have millions of dollars, you have just $100. They think now it's a scam or now you're going to, you know what I'm saying? People looked at me sideways and made jokes. They probably still do to this day behind my back, but little do they know, you guys are still going to a 9 to 5.
No.
In the same place where I showed you this at. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people.
And, for the record, you have been able to design your life in such a way that you're able to turn profit from your own individual efforts where you don't have to lean on a 9 to 5 anymore. And that's where we're at, and that's where we're trying to go. So that's beautiful. So good that they thought you were crazy. And I'm glad that wasn't so discouraging that it made you stop, because obviously it paid off, right? In my regard, I want to say that I agree. Again, that just reference back to that financial illiteracy that we have. Right. And I can say that I actually experienced the same thing. I'm on the cusp of about 18. The internet isn't smartphone yet, so very, very few people are on the internet. We're just now getting on the internet. We're actually just now tapping into cell phones in a major way. I graduated around about 2007. What year did you graduate?
2006.
Okay, so there we go. So you're about a year before me. So this is where we're at. At the time, the thing was MySpace. So, I get into the coding.
Right.
I start to understand the internet a little bit. Just start to understand like what people were doing on the internet. And I started to learn, dang, I could turn a profit. And I actually turned profit from doing little various marketing activities, whether it was coding, whether it was writing something in an article form or a blog form, whether it was a little bit of graphic design. It just didn't matter what it was. These were small activities that anybody could actually do. I started to do them and see good profit from it. The only thing with me, I was so adamant in my traditional position. I was doing this in my spare time. I never got to the point to really think about putting it on autopilot and looking at the numbers of how I could actually make more money doing this versus my actual 9 to 5 job. I just always said, let me fill my spare time with something. And I always found complacency and security in my 9 to 5. So I was totally oblivious to let's create something where I can step away from this totally. It wasn't until
that speaks volume what you just said. That speaks a lot of volume.
Really, I mean seriously, and let me tell you what really sparked it off. And this is why I created this podcast, because no one should wait until they get to the point that I did. It wasn't until I was frustrated with my job. It wasn't until I was angry, agitated, it wasn't until things start to go south or bad, or I have lost a job, that I'm looking at the money and what I could do in a different way. And we don't want to do that, especially if you have kids, if you have, There's nobody for you to lean on. You don't want to wait until you're down at your very, very last before it kind of sparks in your brain. Let's do something. Let's create something. And let's turn a profit from it at the end of the day. So that was my thing, so now I'm at that point. And I'm pretty sure I probably could have a long time ago. I just never even looked at it that way. It's almost like it was a blindfold over my eye. And it wasn't until about a year ago that it kind of summed up, boom, and I was sitting at my desk at work. Not that anything bad was going on at my job. I have a pretty good job. Everything's okay. The money isn't as lucrative as I want it to be. But besides that, my job is pretty good. It's not that hard of a work. I'm at my own desk space. I do my own thing. It's beautiful. But then something just dawned on me as I started thinking about the individual services that I've had throughout the years. I'm like, wait. If I had just done this 10 times every month, I'll be making more money. I should be making 10 times more money than I'm making sitting at this job. And that's when the ball was on. I said, whoa, what am I doing?
All right. And nothing was the same after that. Huh?
Nothing was the same after that. So this is how we got into the financial kitchen. This is how we got to a point where, okay, let's take advantage of every money-making opportunity that we can have. Let's put business structure and some consistency to it, and let's make it happen. So that's what it was. Let me ask you this. So you said you were right at 2 years. So let me ask you this. At what point, give me a little story, or give me a little background of when you made your biggest profit, and also give me a little background of when you had your biggest loss. You don't have to get so personal where you tell us exact numbers, but kind of tell us what you.
Exact numbers.
Okay, and that's perfectly fine if you do that. That brings a lot of value to the table. So we're just interested. I think those are two good points. So because if someone's listening to this and they're thinking, okay, this is something risky to get into, I think if you give them a feel of what it is to lose and what it is to win, they'll have a good scope of it. So kind of tell me that.
Okay. So within 2 years, and granted, understand this, listeners, 2 years may seem like a long time, but when you're learning this, it's only a few seconds. I promise you. You know what I'm saying?
I like the way you said that. I like the way you said that.
It's real. My biggest gain was maybe, I'm going to say $2,000. And it wasn't at one time. It wasn't just, $2,000. It was a couple, maybe a $500 trade here, a couple $20 trades here. But that was all in like maybe a 2 months time. That's when I was fresh on it with the mentor. We were side by side. He was at my house. I was at his house, and we was getting it. I realized that was just pretty much me being side by side with him. Because when I went home and it was just me and my walls, it was a different story now. My biggest loss was $700. And I'm going to tell you how I lost this. To all traders out there, me personally, you should never trade when the market first opens. Okay? Give it time to get some kind of consistency. Give it time to get an angle. You know what I'm saying? Give it time to grow. Give it time to wake up. You don't want to just trade as soon as it opens its eyes. Because you don't know what's going to happen. It may want to go back to sleep. You don't know. I didn't take heed to that. As soon as the market opened its eyes, I was like, yep, you finna get up and get in these streets. Nah, it didn't work that way.
And what you mean by that, let's kind of like, I don't mean to interject, but let's kind of elaborate on what that means. So, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I just want to make sure because I'm kind of learning too. You are my coach and my guide for right now. Or hopefully, probably forever. But anyways,
we rocking. We in here.
We rocking. But what that means is when the market opens up, this is a 24-hour thing, right? The market opens up at a certain time of the day, and it also closes at a certain time of the day. Is that what you're meaning?
When the market opens Sunday at 5 or 5:30. I still get confused. 5 or 5:30, and it closes Friday at 5. So between Sunday and Friday before 5, the market is open.
Okay. So that's actually a few days. See, I thought this was a 24-hour thing. I thought it capped and closes by the day.
No. It's open all week. It closes Friday at 5 o'clock. So you have Friday after 5, then you have Saturday to really focus on, if you're a serious trader, to focus on your craft for the next week. Sunday comes around, it opens up at 4:30 and it goes again. And
is that PM for Sunday?
I'm sorry, I said yes, PM.
PM. Okay. So from Sunday evening until Friday evening, about 5 to 5 or 4:30 to 5 on Friday, the market opens and closes. Okay. So when you're saying that, you definitely do not want to be skinning the game Sunday at 5:30, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. That's no.
And I learned that the hard way. As
Okay.
soon as, like I say, as soon as it was like, what time is it? And again, I wasn't disciplined. I won't lie. And I tell this story, and I get excited to tell my story about the Forex because it shows discipline. I see my self-discipline. Whether anybody else believes it or not, I see self-discipline. And I wasn't disciplined enough. I think I was more so gambling because I saw the money. The money was coming fast. It was like, oh, it's right here. It's at my fingertips. But I was abusing the platform. I wasn't taking it serious as to say this really could be a livelihood, my man, if you really just focus and pay attention. Don't gamble. Don't guess. Pay attention. And I learned from that. As soon as the market opened at 4 or 4:30 on that Sunday, I put in a big boy trade, and it was like, wipe out account, $700 gone. And I was done for that whole week because, you don't really have bread to put through in like that. So I was done for.
How did it make you feel? Were you discouraged? Now, did you want to give up?
I was not. Because I had taken losses before, like a couple hundred, $100 here, this and the third, and I put $100 in, take it out. That right there, it did not discourage me. And I had my group members, like just some partners of mine, they were there, and they watched it. And they was like, oh, you taking this pretty okay. Because at that point, I knew this is still something I want to do. I know it comes with a risk. I know it comes with losses, and I was okay with that. It was. That's when I knew I grew.
Okay. So let me ask you this: did you make your profit before your big loss, or did you make the loss before you made the big profit? I
made my loss before I made my profit.
Okay, so you're just confident. You are actually just motivated because typically, if a person hadn't seen a big gain yet, they wouldn't be as geared to keep moving as you. But go ahead, no. But what I was about to say was good about it.
You're right. Yeah, a lot of people are like, look.
Yeah, they wouldn't have kept trucking with that type of experience. So what's good is that we got somebody like you to stick to it because it's still going to pay off in the end. It's going to pay off in the end.
Self-discipline is key. Like before you even have knowledge of the market, anything, self-discipline. You have to know how to control. Wants over needs, and you can't be greedy. And needs over wants. If you want it or you need it, you just got to be self-disciplined, and then you get into this game.
Okay.
And after that $700 loss, I was like, okay, look, you need to go back over here to this corner and figure this out, and then come back out swinging.
Okay, so what did you learn from the loss? What happened within that loss? Where do you think that you messed up, or what did you learn? Explain the loss to me for a little bit, if you don't mind.
For one, I got greedy.
Okay.
Because I knew the market was opening.
Okay.
I felt that it was going in a great direction once it opened because I had did my research.
So you went early. Is this the time that you actually traded early?
Yeah, this is the time I traded early.
You traded early and you feel like you got greedy. Okay. All right. Yes. So tell me more.
I put a big lot size on it. And when it comes to lot sizes, what that means is it's like a bid. You put a big bid or a small bid. Had I put a smaller bid in, I wouldn't have blown my whole account. But I put a big bid in because I just felt I was greedy. I won't sugarcoat it. I was just greedy. I knew I wanted to make $1,000 that day. So I put in a big bid. I didn't have enough financial backing in that bank account or in that account to cover my bid once it went sideways. And let me give an example of that.
Okay.
If you have an account with $1,000, you have $1,000 in your account.
Okay.
You have a broker. If they just so happen to match your $1,000, you have $2,000, right?
That's right.
You have $2,000 because they're matching.
Okay.
Now let's not even focus on the match that they give you, the $2,000. Let's not even focus on their match.
Okay.
I deposited $1,000 into this account.
Okay.
The trade that I put in was so big that it was going in the reverse direction of where I wanted to go.
Okay.
And it was like I was negative maybe $500 already.
So basically, this is where this you buy so much, but because you're losing, it's not only taking the money that you currently have in the account, it's also taking even negative of that as well.
Yes.
Okay.
It's going in the negative. So if that broker see that you're in the negative so far, they're going to snatch their backing. They're like, nope. You're not doing it right, what I'm saying? Or I don't want to lose my money with you losing your money because of your trading strategies. So they'll pull their backing. And if they pull their backing, and I had $1,000 that I put in, and their $1,000, that's $2,000. I'm already -5. If they pull their backing, I'm only at $500.
Okay.
So the more in the negative it go, when it hits $600, it's like, oh man, I only have $5. So how am I gonna be -$600 if I only have $500 left? And it goes from there.
Oh gosh.
It went from there. It was like, okay, well they put that backing. I don't have any funds to put in the account real quick to keep it pushing. So it's like I have no choice but to
tap out.
You know. Yeah, they just tap out. You know, it's like it is what it is.
Okay.
And so some people, it's discouraging. I can tell. I've seen one or two times where I've like lost $100 and something dollars, and I was like, I really needed that money, but I knew I could make some more money again. That I didn't learn from first, but I was learning. So it's
okay.
discouraging, but I advise everybody to stick with me.
So let me ask you this.
Sure.
Okay, so from that loss, here we are. We're at this loss. It's putting our back up against the wall. How did you muster up the strength to get back into this and also take us from that to where you made your biggest profit?
Because I knew it was real. I knew it was me still. You know what I'm saying? Sounds crazy, but I still knew it was like, you shouldn't do this. You knew better. But it was after that happened that I talked to myself like, you knew better. You was not supposed to trade as soon as the market opened. You give it time to find which way it wants to go, which direction it wants to go. You give it time. It just opened back up, so you got to give the world time to adjust to this opening back up. I was guessing a lot more than really using strategy. Everything is really a gamble still, and it's still kind of guessing. But I wasn't using an educated guess. I wasn't really putting my best foot forward. I was just pretty much leading the blind.
So when you're trading, it's important to stay on top of what type of things to support your educated trade.
Yes.
What's that?
You need to stay on top of certain current events. You need to stay on top of time. Like just because it's 4 o'clock here, it could be 4 o'clock a.m. in London. But if I'm trading London currency, these guys are asleep. Like their population isn't booming right now. So you got to pay attention to time of day when you're trading as well. That plays a major part.
Okay. So current event time.
What's going on?
So current events time. Well, that's good.
Price.
What else? Tell me.
I was saying price action, like the price in the market at the moment.
Oh, so what do you mean? So what do you mean by that? Like the value of a particular currency at the time?
Correct, because not every currency is valued at the same thing. You may have $100 to put towards US JPY, and then your US to Switzerland, it's just a different price action. At the moment, I have to
Excuse me. I think I tried to speak. I tried to speak too fast, but anyways, I think it's so let me kind of play with it in my brain. So basically it's sort of like supply and demand. If this particular what do they call this? Are these called exchanges the same way that it's called in the stock market?
Yes, these currency exchanges.
Currency exchanges. Okay, cool. So basically, let's say in this particular currency exchange, let's say US JPY, which is the US dollar to the yen, right?
Correct.
At this particular moment, it's very low, just very low. So we're gonna take it and we will buy that because at another time frame it could rise and basically I could go trade this again and make a profit off of it.
Correct.
Okay, so this is my next question. So basically the charts for trading is the same thing as I watch the stock market. It's kind of the same thing.
It moves faster.
It moves faster.
It just moves a lot faster.
And it looks it looks so much more confusing. Is that the key too? Because that's what I take.
A lot of people put a lot of indicators up. Now, I won't take away from the experienced individuals that know exactly what they're doing, but nobody really knows exactly what they're doing. It's so many methods to it. It's so many different indicators, as you will, that kind of predicts which way the market will go at any given time. However, those are just man-made indicators. It still can be something going on in the world that goes against these indicators. Current event. That's why I say current event plays a major part.
So define an indicator. What exactly is an indicator?
Okay. An indicator, we have some, like, let's say, I'll take the Bollinger Band. And you'll get familiar with that soon. The Bollinger Band is like some little squiggly lines that kind of follows the trend. If you put your Bollinger Band on, you set your parameters, and if the trend is going downward, you'll see the Bollinger Band is going down. If the trend is going upward, you'll see the Bollinger Band is going upward.
And what is Bollinger Band? So what is Bollinger Band? Is it an actual product, or this is just a chart that we're looking at that kind of tell it? Is a form of indicator?
It's a signal. It's just saying, hey, right now it's in a downtrend.
Gotcha.
But that's just the trend, though. You still have, inside of the trend, you still have movement inside of the trend. Just because the trend is going downward doesn't mean it's plummeting. It could just be going down at the moment to come back up.
Gotcha.
And that's what you call those retracements. So it's a game for only the strong. You know what I'm saying? The strong will survive. If you have self-confidence, if you believe in yourself, it's there. I can't act like I don't know it. It's one of those things that I explain to people. Once you know it, once you know how to do it, once you understand it, you can never act like you don't know it. So you can never be, quote unquote, broke financially as long as you know this. All you have to do is just apply what you know.
Cool deal. Okay. So, explain to me what happened when you made the biggest profit. That was my other question. When you made that $2,000 profit, what kind of adjustments did you make from when you made the loss to when you made the profit? Was it tweaking? Was it not being greedy? Tweaking the strategy. What happened from the difference between the two?
It was tweaking the strategy, and somebody would say, "You're still crazy," because I was still
not being greedy.
Greedy. That's it. Greedy. Okay. I was still kind of sort of greedy, just because again, you got to look at it. If you got the strategy and you up the price, it's more gain. It's the same strategies. However, my biggest issue was I never had that financial backing that I needed to really stand on what I was talking. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense to you?
Yes, that makes sense.
So what happened when I got my biggest return was I reached out to a partner of mine, and he actually invested. He was like, okay, I see what this is doing. I know what this is. And he invested some money, and that gave me a little bit more leverage to stand on. So I was like, okay, now we can kind of play a little bit more, because where I would add maybe $500, I'll take my $500, and at that time he invested $1,500. So I'm like, okay, I have some leverage now. We can kind of play. I played small. I got a few gains, and then there it goes. Voila, I got greedy again, because I'm like, okay, same strategy. Let's just up the size. Didn't work that way, because the lot size or the bid that I asked for, I still didn't have enough financial backing for that particular bid.
Okay,
that's what got me out of the game again. But I still made my profit. I was able to cut him in, cut out. I just still wasn't able to keep going continuously from that. And I wasn't able to do what in the trading world we want to make more withdrawals than deposits. I wasn't making more withdrawals. I was making more deposits, trying to get the withdrawals. If that makes sense.
That makes sense. Okay. Interesting. That was a good bit to digest. I'm trying to collect my thoughts. I understood it. I got that though. This was what was going to be my question. So, it is typical, or isn't it typical? Or is this a strategy that you used yourself, or is this common in the trading world for someone to go and get some financial backing from someone else, or like an investment from someone else, and do such a thing?
I'm pretty sure it's common. I won't say it's not. I'm pretty sure it's common. It's just, even with the whole currency exchange, people talk real secretive with it. It's not one of those things they just get out and blast on the platform. Even when you get in these little private groups, they ask that you kind of send, if somebody inquires about it, they ask that you send them to them. And, so it's kind of like for members only. But I'm pretty sure some people say, hey, Mom, I need 10,000. Hey, Mom, I need, I'm pretty sure there's some financial backers out there. And if not, then they were just born into it. Or they worked for it and stacked it up. It's ironic you asked that, because I ran into a company last night that had a subscription, and you pay like $125, $165, and $200 a month for different platforms, and they give you you just pay it monthly, but they give you a big, what do you call it?
different packages to get different amount of financial backing.
There you go,
and
financial backing, so you can work, and then they'll get their percentage.
That's what I was about to say.
You get your percentage. They have guidelines that you have to abide by. You have to be out of like the trade by Friday at a certain time. So you have guidelines, and I just ran across them last night. So I'm gonna do more investigation on them today because last night I was excited when I saw that. I was like, oh, hold up, this might be a great avenue. You know, this might be a nice little investment. So I'm still reading up on those guys.
Interesting. So now, what would you say to a person who it might be sort of afraid because they hear that I need to go, one, put my money into it, two, possibly need the help and support of another investor? You know, typically we're not groomed, going back to what we're taught, going back to financial literacy or illiteracy or being illiterate, forgive me. What would you say to someone? Because the term investing isn't always fluent. I'm going to say with brown people, because when I was growing up, you know, I never really understood what it was to seek an investment. And not only not to seek it, but two, how to handle if I were to get an investment, someone who is looking to have some type of return on what they invested in you. You know, so kind of explain to people how that works, how it feels doing that, and even though you don't have 100% confidence of whether or not it's going to go the way you want it to go, but it's still worth the risk.
Okay. Well, for one, if you're going to reach out to an investor, and as with any investor or an invested group, they understand that everything is a risk. You know what I'm saying? If you want to build a school, they understand that the school may not do so good, and they'll shut the school down, and they waste some money. So you'll want to get with an investor that understands what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, here's the opportunity where we can make some money. You know, you get X amount of percentage. I'll get X amount of percentage. I just need for you to stand with me. And if they agree, then they understand that at any moment, the investment can go sideways. Just like restaurant owners, et cetera, club owners. You get shot inside a club. That's pretty much your investment right there. That's shutting your club down. You know? And that was on the outside of the club. So your investor has to understand what's going on, you know? That's for one with the investor.
And if you have a good investor, typically they're groomed on the risk to reward type thing.
As to what's going on.
Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one.
And then for the person that, you know, is afraid to put up their own capital, that's when you get some knowledge of it. First of all, you get the knowledge. And they offer the demo. They offer the demo packages, the demo trials, where you can set the bar. You can say $3,000. You can start an account with 3,000 imaginary dollars. You take the techniques that you learned, and you just apply them. You didn't come out of pocket with any capital. You just downloaded this thing for free. And you took the necessary strategies, and you just played with them. You just tried your techniques out for free before you even got into the market of actual currency. I would advise anybody that wants to do it, I would advise them to at least do maybe 6 months, 3, if you really have a mentor that's rocking with you that can speed up the process a little faster. But I would say 6 months, honestly, of just learning it with the demo. You know, go to your 9 to 5, do what you got to do. Keep in mind that you know, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. So it shouldn't discourage you by not automatically putting your money in there and instead in return, because you know you want to do this. So you're just going to train. You're going to train yourself. You're going to learn. You do the demo. You learn it. You take your losses with demo just like if it was a real account. You know, that way you'll understand what's going on.
Get a feel for it in a sense.
Yeah, you get a feel for it. Because it's the exact same thing. If you have a strategy for demo, you use your same strategy for your live account. And that's just in layman's terms. You know what I'm saying? The same thing you do, you just do here. And then, and I'm going to tell you this. The fun part about a demo, you can go ahead and gamble. You can go ahead and get greedy real quick. You can say, okay, I'm going to put $2,000 down. You know you wouldn't want to do that with your real money just starting out. But you can get the bug and get to see, oh, man, that's what the money is. And then you really get back to realistic terms then. You know, that's the beauty of the demo. I'll go in there one day just see if I can get $1 million with a crazy trade. And I still use demo to this day. Even with a live account, I still use demo.
You know, I was going to ask it when you gave that suggestion. I was wondering, is that a strategy? Do people play with the demo and also, you know, put that? That's good. That's good. That's good stuff. That's good stuff.
I would recommend that. I don't know how many people are in the world. Some people are like, no, that's beyond me. Maybe. I don't know. But me personally, I'm going to always keep my demo open just to test the waters. Like, even with my live account, if I'm going to trade today at 1:30, I'm going to be on my demo account maybe about 12 something testing the water. Let me just throw this little fish, just warm my hand and see what's biting. Let me
smart.
see with my demo account before I throw it out there with my real account. But I had to learn this stuff because beforehand I was like, all right, try demo. I'm a hands-on person. I'm ready for it now.
Again.
And that's where I learned from that.
Dope stuff. That's why anything that you start new, even sometimes if it's not new, if you're into it, you need a mentor, you need a coach, you need some guidance, you need somebody that you can rub shoulders with. But that's good information. So I appreciate that. That's good stuff. That's good stuff, man. All right, so let's hop back over to this marketing thing, and we can kind of close it out. Let's go back over to this marketing thing, and we can cap it out. So let's go back down some of your questions, some of your interests, some of what you're interested in.
Let's see. I think you got the question pulled up on your end.
Let me see.
Okay. I'm going to ask this question, and again, so all the listeners, no matter what the topic is, there's really no wrong question. There's no dumb question because for someone, they be like, oh, man, you know what I was thinking that? I'm going to ask you this because you will be who I come to for marketing advice.
Okay, let's do it.
Could a person ask the question and say, what would you not market? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's not worth marketing?
That is a good question. That is a good question. I'm going to be very honest to you. When I was taught marketing, when I first got into it, when I went to the way I stepped into the waters, I got into it by doing small services. But once I saw what it could do for me, then I started to want to formally learn. Once I went to this formal learning side of it, what I learned was that this can be applied to anything. And yes, if we say anything, we get into what could be per se perceived as good things and bad things. So then you get groomed onto moral and civil things, right? Because that's how humans operate. Our belief systems, the way we civilly deal with each other, what's right and wrong. But when you're taught marketing, you're taught to market to what you call different demographics and different audiences. And with that being said, for the lack of better words, there is no limit. And let's kind of use an example to kind of explain that, because I don't think I can put it in words without an example. So for example, here I am. I was traditionally groomed under, let's say, a Christian umbrella, right? Before I even get into business and marketing. This is typically my background. And I think most of the people who maybe take a whiff of this, probably the same thing or no religion at all. So I was under a Christian umbrella. So here it is, I'm learning marketing, and I'm learning that there's a group of products, and it can be religious-based products. No matter what my belief is, there is someone out there who is Jewish that's interested in the Kabbalah and Jewish things. Now, here's a moral battle. Now, it's either morally, because I am Christian, and that is my religion, and that's what I stick to, or do I understand marketing enough and accept marketing enough to understand that that does not matter? That is this group of people's lifestyle. This is this group of people's attention set. This is what is going to attract them, and this is what they're going to spend their dollar on. Okay? Regardless of how you feel, regardless of how I feel. So you start to play with moral, again, civil boundaries and stuff like that. If you're able to separate yourself away from that, you're able to see that there is no right and wrong. There is no... You see, are you wrapping your mind around what I'm saying? You can market anything, so it really just boils down to what will you accept as right or wrong? Me, because I've been in marketing so long, I'm right at about 8+ years with experience and also learning. So I'm at this point where I'm able to separate myself from everything. Whether, let's even go to something that's totally taboo, porn. That's big money. It's big profit in a porn. You can market it and still make money. So I guess to answer your question, it boils down to what are your beliefs? What are you able to step into? What you're able to be comfortable with? And I'm going to cap it at there is no boundaries. You can market anything. You can promote anything. It just goes down to your beliefs and the way you see it. If you're able to separate yourself from that, you are truly able to earn and profit in any niche, in any category or any industry, however you want to put it. That's what this should be. That's what this should be. Again, I want the Financial Kitchen. This is a sub edition. We specifically are geared towards marketing and trading, and we'll get into some more things. But also on this particular podcast, I want to step into different money making ventures, which I've said before. So, I'm sure we're going to have wiggle room to do certain things. So we'll decide on a certain venture, go down it, maybe 2 at a time, one on your end of the table, one on my end of the table, and track the effort along the way. So, I'm sure we'll get into that. But yes, there is no limit. Just depends on your beliefs. And what's so crazy is once you get this understanding, there are people who know this stuff such to a T. They're able to market and promote you specifically to what you think is special to you in your environment, where someone will actually exploit you because of it. Let's take an example. Again, the Jewish and the Kabbalah. They're Jewish. That's their religion. That's their belief. Here it is, somebody on the flip side of the table that understand the business of it and able to push products and services down their throat in that particular industry, which they know they're going to buy because that is dear and near to their heart. Again, they're profiting from it. You take people of lower tax brackets, of lower income brackets, what's typically on your street corners, especially brown people's street corners, liquor stores, high price clothing and shoe and apparel places, right. Things like that, things for us to squab away our money. Car lots, they understand our psyche. They call us a demographic, a targeted audience that is going to do a certain thing just because of their culture, their way of living, and this is how we profit from it. So there are no boundaries, and there's people who know this like the back of their hand, and I think I've gotten to the point where I do too. And I definitely would not exploit anyone with it. I want to share this knowledge so we understand that. We understand that, our culture around derogatory things, not that I'm knocking or trying to tell anyone what to do, but it kind of makes you want to step back and say, is this truly my culture, or is this just being forced on me?
Right. And then, you know what, that speaks volumes too. You don't fire with that, because is it really us? Or has it been forced on us? And a lot has been forced.
And now it's adapted, and now it's become tradition where it seems like it's us, So if we understand that we're being targeted as a demographic or targeted as a market, why would that be the specific thing? And then what's even crazier about these targeted markets and demographics, they will promote certain things to certain people. So not that they would not promote to a higher tax bracket or a higher income bracket, community or society or zip code. Not that they don't do that. They just actually promote different products and services to them. So for case in point, a lower income and tax bracket would get promoted the alcohol Indy 2020, where I would take a zip code of Alpharetta and Buckhead, and I would only promote Belvedere or something of that nature. That's what I mean by that. That's right. That's right. It's not readily accessible on your street corner. And that's how you know where you lie in the income sector or the financial sector or the economy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's what it's giving me the grace of, and this is what you learn. You learn that there's no boundaries. It's just these things that kind of came about naturally. No one forced the market to do this or that. It's just our natural habit. And once these habits and traditions are adapted, then this is what you're left with. But someone is looking at it like a map in this sense, and they're able to send, again, products, services, And so, and anything that will turn a profit down these avenues, sort of like the line of currency exchanges, it just lines of making money, and you play the game in that line, and you're able to profit from it. It's the same way with marketing.
It's true. Wow, I think we dropped some jewels for them today.
That's right. So with that being said,
dropped a major key.
It's a major key. Well, with that, we can kind of cap and close this out.
I mean, I don't want to say no, because we can talk for forever. Because again, it's all genuine. It's like we're putting people on to something that they may have ever exposed to, you know. So I'm not going to say no, but at the moment, I don't have any more questions. I think you answered all of mine.
Okay, that's dope as ever. And right, it's definitely going to be a series because we're going to have more content, more things to kind of discuss and break down. But in the trading sense, I think you gave me so many jewels today that has me looking at it in a different way, a different perspective. Even though I have investigated the area, it kind of put emphasis on things that I already know, terms. So, hey, I think it was a success, and that's that. Boom.
I think so too.